Right, Nanook. Are you going to be able to sit over there?
Yeah.
While we're filming?
You got it.
Are you going to be able to sit over there? Okay. And be quiet, girl. And color good? Okay. I love you, Nanook.
Well, shalom.
Well, hello.
You know, I think people really enjoyed Chelsea and I just doing a little video last time.
Just a little chit-chat.
Jubilee is sleeping.
Chit-chatting with the Reynolds.
Let's just do a little chit-chat with
Just a
the
little
Reynolds.
chit-chatting with the Reynolds.
Hey, can I just say, because we have had no other outside commitments, Chelsea and I have rediscovered not only our family time and life, but so much of the things that make us deeply satisfied. Tell them what you've been up to, like.
Well, I was going to say like showering. Your hair looks really
like
nice.
I officially showered.
He officially showered in an actual
Not in a river.
shower.
It's the first time she's looked at me in a while like that.
I mean, look at his hair looks so fresh.
I didn't shampoo, just so we're clear. There was no shampoo involved.
Oh no.
No.
Still very averse to soap.
And I still brought
unless
a rock.
it's natural, unless it's like a goat soap.
It sounds so strange.
Goat.
Goat soap.
Whatever.
Maybe sheep soap.
Sheep soap.
Goat
Yeah.
soap. I just like the sound of it.
This summer we did river bathing.
Lots.
A lot.
Lots.
And we had some goat soap. At least I think it was goat soap. Let's just call it handmade, homemade soap. That many wonderful people have gifted us.
People keep sending me soap.
We love soap. Hey, I don't mind soap.
Maybe I stink. I think.
But we would suds it up, and we'd get out in that river, and we would suds up these little bars of homemade soap that people were sending us, and we're like, hey, let's just go ahead and bathe in the river, why don't we? Like, we would scrub our hair. It feels
felt
amazing.
You even did some laundry
If
in the river.
you've never, guys, I found this amazing garment yesterday. It was $1. It's 100% silk scarf. And it is from Jerusalem. I mean, come on. Our Heavenly Father is amazing, right? Like, He's amazing. This was $1. It did smell a little like old lady perfume. So, I'm going to, I washed it in some natural detergent today, just in a bowl with, like, very tepid water, lukewarm water. And now we're going to rinse it in the river because I feel like we need to be washing our garments in nature. So come over here. I found this amazing pool. Look at this. This is like nature's wash tub here, guys. Come on. All right, come here, Nate. You got to get. You've never river bathed though, you guys. You've got to try it. It's incredible. It really is. But sometimes
You're not near a river. Or you're near a polluted creek. I kept walking up this creek that's nearby, and I was like, surely this is going to be spring-fed. Part of it, yes. Part of it, no. Part of it is waste. You got to check your creek.
Yeah.
It's important.
I'm pretty sure you ended up in a really stinky pond in Kansas when we were driving through Kansas. Well, he's at it again. Disc diver of Denver. Nathan is disc diving right now. He was really hot and he wanted to go immerse in this pond to cool off.
It's a great day for treasure hunting. The scumminess keeps people out, but look, there's trash, fishing line. Let's see. Hold on, I felt something. Fishing line. It's nice to use your feet, but sometimes it's painful. Oh. Yeah! Mountain Dew! Where it belongs! In the depths! In the depths of the sea! You gotta get rid of that poison! This water's better for you than that nastiness they sell in the can. It's so good. Hold on, I felt one. But I lost it. Oh. Oh. Just moving mountains.
Okay.
What I look for is a hole and a launch pad that's close to the water. And then you just scour it with your hands or your feet. Oh, just scour it. If you look over there, that's where they were throwing from.
And we have to try to make it over the water. And many of them don't make it, do they?
No, it's only like this deep.
It's what we call a water trap.
But it's just full of the muck.
Oh. How'd you get in there? Oh, there's some on the shore right there.
I found more. I found a nice chunk of Osage orange too.
Nice.
Over there. I found 7.
Dad, I want to go back to the park.
Nate, you gotta get the other one.
That was like 10 minutes.
Oh, I found them all in a couple minutes.
That's great. Hi, Miss Jane. Come on up. Come on up. Go back and play.
I'm going to go back to the park, okay?
All day long. All day. Or just for a few minutes.
And half in Kansas, I went disc diving for gold. You betcha. Anytime I see a pond that's near a disc golf course,
He's like, I'm going in that pond, and I'm like,
I'll find like 15 or 20 of them. Literally, within 10 minutes, I found 13.
he really does.
It was awesome.
It's kind of a gift.
It's a talent. Nobody else wants to go in there because it smells like rotting opossum flesh. It's nasty.
Ew.
It really
Yeah.
does. You know how stinky I was, remember? I was all soaked in that black muck. Even the discs stink. I give them away.
Ooh, we should send those out in LinenRailroad packages.
Hey, let's just circle on that for a minute because
Yeah,
last
if
time we
you
talked to
need
y'all.
a disc.
No, that's not what I was gonna say.
Oh.
That's not what I was gonna say.
Oh, sorry.
Show them our bag of goodies.
Was it at
Hey,
the park?
we're super focused, y'all. Okay. We don't have other outside commitments, meaning we finally stopped doing stuff with other people all the time. Because over the summer, we did 5 or 6 days a week of other stuff. Oh,
This?
that's one of the bags. Yeah.
Is this what
So
you're
listen,
wanting?
we're wanting to make the most epic LinenRailroad treasure bags ever. So check this out, y'all. Like, people have been lavishing us with goodies lately, and we want to just send them out. Like, we realized that what I think Yahuwah has appointed Chelsea and I to right now is as we increase in any capacity or arena with, like, plenty, we want to send it out in plenty in the LinenRailroad bags. I'm like, honey, we could just stuff them with more and more treasures. And I don't just mean rocks. I know some of you guys are like, you get your treasure bags and you're like, wow, there's rocks.
Guys, some of the polished rocks from that river bank where we were at the gravel bed. We actually found some agates, so I think these 5 might be agates. I don't know for sure about this one, but check this out. Like, the most beautiful
Oh, that one's gorgeous. I'm gonna keep
agate ever. That thing's so crazy.
What's he doing?
So we found that. This is a big agate, I'm pretty sure. I need to scrub it because he's got a lot of white particle from the polisher still. Oh, there's Nathan's gigantic agate.
What?
Huge. Careful. And then this is another really beautiful agate that I found too. Check that out. Isn't that just ridiculous? We've never found agates before. I gotta scrub this one down.
They're the best for tumbling
Isn't
ever.
that so crazy? I mean, just look at the complexity of that rock right
Maybe
there.
stop dropping it.
Like
Hey,
in
try
the
not to drop
detail.
it.
I don't know. You can't really. There you go. You can kind of see it. Anyway, we super shined them up. That rock tumbler's been amazing. Oh, this is.
It
Hold on.
runs 24/7.
This is another.
It
hold
does
on
not take a
minute.
break on Shabbat.
Dude, it's right here.
It does not rest on Shabbat.
I thought I was getting linen. Here, some of you are like, well, okay. It's okay. It's not for you. Give it to a child or give it to a child of heart, known as a human, who really needs to know that there's stones of testimony that are there for them. But we got all these seeds, and like we've been through a super wrestling match over the past like couple of years, y'all.
Okay.
Can I just be super transparent with you guys? But we have wrestled with the whole like we want to be farmers, homesteaders, landowners, like people that do this like back to Eden lifestyle, gardening, ferocious lifestyle. We've, for 4.5 years, though, we've been on the road traveling around and living with people that are doing it or trying to do it or haven't done it or want to do it, all kinds of different levels of it. Yes. Professional farmers, all the way down to just homesteaders, all the way down to people that like have a garden in their backyard.
Yeah, extra pound even. That's great.
Probably has some water in there too.
Beautiful.
I'm
We have learned a lot of lessons because of that. And one of the main things we honestly have learned is that if you are not really ready for it, it will eat you alive. It's like where people start, they're like, let's get goats. Don't start with goats.
He says it all the time, y'all.
Kill them. I killed 2 goats this last week. You know what?
Well, shalom. I'm hanging out with a goat. A dead goat. 2, actually. You never really know what your life's gonna do. Any of those skills or lessons that you learn along the way, you don't know which one of them is actually going to be genuinely beneficial, not just for yourself, but for others. Some folks asked me to come help them deal with some problems. And you know what? This is the thing I love to do, right here. I did not expect to enjoy artisanal butchering, but I surely do. Because you know what? The struggle bus of goats is ridiculous. And any of you watching here who have goats or you don't, just understand something. Yeshua is literally going to sit down and separate all the nations of the earth into 2 categories, sheep and goats. The sheep nations, they're going to enter into shalom and life, totally full of peace. The goat nations, stiff-necked mongrels. They're going to experience a completely different world than everything else. The wonders of life come down to simple things. Following the Father's ways. There is an ancient path that so many of us have been disinherited from. I'm someone who inherited a completely different reality of life. Today, people got to see their animals not die violently, not die horribly. These animals did not die violently. They were totally calm. We stepped into their pen where they were living. We caught them, put them on their sides, we slit their throats, and there was no madness. This is how you close the loop when it comes to going from pasture to plate. And you know what? These people now, their family gets to eat this over the course of the winter, and they get to enjoy the Father's provision. And you know what? It's a beautiful experience. I'm not someone who eats a lot of meat. This is the only kind of meat I like to eat when I know how it was raised and how it died, because it's an incredible way for us to experience how the Father completes our life experiences. We want to eat meat. This is a way that we can do it. This is a skill that I learned down in Texas. I was flown up to Washington and was trained how to be a butcher. And you know what? I am so thankful for that skill set, because with a little thing of knives, a saw, some rope, and a skill, I can bless families. And it's such an incredible opportunity. And I'm so thankful that I got to learn this skill. And I'd encourage each and every one of you, skills are things we can take with us. Preps are not. I would rather every one of you learn quality skills in your life that would train you up to be effective no matter where you go. Because you know what? I can take this with me and it weighs nothing. The understanding of how to do this, and that I can impart this to another family and equip them with the ability to replicate, so they can take their needs and provide for others. And they can take other people who have this desperate need, who are frustrated and don't know how to deal with the animals. Do not get animals, y'all, until you know how to do this step, because why bother? If you can't do this step yourself, you're always dependent on a different system of people that don't follow the practices and the beliefs that you do, and you're yoked to a system that does not abide with giving your animal a peaceful death. This is the way to do it. And you know what? We're hanging out in their property. We get to enjoy this incredible gift of a burst of warm weather amidst ferocious cold, and we get to rejoice and see Yahuwah is still good. So I encourage you, live authentically, y'all. Find ways to learn a new skill every single day. Just one new skill. Add it to your repertoire. Get more efficient at it. Practice it. And you know what? Share it. Be fruitful and multiply. I love y'all. Talk to you soon.
You know why? Because a friend of mine asked me to come out and help with butcher goats, and I love doing that for people. Seriously, I'll come kill your goats. Gladly. Gladly. I will kill your goats. Sheep are wonderful. However, people start out with getting animals, and the truth is, when you move on to like properties or raw land, if it doesn't already have the infrastructure and you start with animals,
it's a big commitment, y'all.
Y'all.
Animals are a big
commitment. Savage. Start with a parakeet. Way more manageable. I'm not joking. Like, it's brutal. We have seen so much struggle in people's lives because they try to get going in animals before they're, first of all, ready and equipped to kill the animal. Because you need to be ready to kill your goat the day you get it. Day one. Because once it becomes a problem animal and you don't know how to take care of it, like you got a rooster that's just mauling your children and just pecking them to death, you got to be ready to kill that thing.
Or a turkey that gets all rebellious on you.
And
you have to go out, and when you're trying to feed them every morning, you grab the trash can lid and you use it as a shield because they're trying to kick you and peck you.
Kill it.
And this was my Bircho. This was my Bircho, who I would hold in my arms, and I would stroke his little neck, and he would just completely collapse and sleep in my arms. Yeah, that was Birch.
Because
Same
we used
one
to have
that
pet
would peck
turkeys in
me
this
and
RV.
try to kill me when I was feeding him breakfast every morning.
Goodbye, Turcos. I'm gonna miss you guys. I'm gonna miss you. Yes, I am. You beautiful birds. May Allah bless you.
Turned. Yeah, I
Turns
thought it
out
was
she
a
was-
he.
she
It
was
was
wrong.
a she. She turned on me though. She turned on me, and and our relationship became very disgruntled. And I ended up eventually
Trading her for
mommable. Good trade.
good trade for the llama. Thanks, Naomi.
Oh, thank you, Naomi. That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. That's a what is that? Tell me.
Horsey barn.
A
It's
horsey barn.
Horse barn. See,
Horse party.
for years we have battled with what would we ever do with land, and it's like we got to a place in life where it's like, right now, I think we just should do our ministry, like full-hearted, full-blown ministry, and like we actually have like opportunities to live on land that's like ours, and we're like, what are we gonna do? Could we plant all these bags of seeds? And like we went back to Colorado, and one of the things we brought back was like thousands and thousands of seeds, because this was like our bank account. We're like, someday we're gonna have a property and we're gonna plant seeds and we're gonna just have this
Look at
food
this.
forest.
Don't you want to grow that?
Come
I
on.
do.
Gigantic squash.
Come on, it's amazing.
It reaches 30 pounds.
It says it's got an edible skin, like a thin edible skin. It's this sweet mega squash. Look at that squash. Doesn't it look incredible?
Someone's gonna get it in their treasure bag. That's what we've realized. We started going through this stuff because Chelsea and I have had to go through massive, constant purges of all our idols. Like, oh
Yeah.
Yisrael, lay down your idols. If you don't know about Lyndon and Ruth Mitchell and Left and Right Ministries and Oh Yisrael,
We love that song.
seriously, we love them so much. And their music is full of invigorating truths, and one of their best ones is Lay Down Your Idols.
Yes.
And you know what you find out going on the journey of road life and just weaning down of everything you've ever had? How to murder idols. Like, we've had to go through this so much. And like, even just this bag of seeds, I was like, honey, we should sit down and sort through these seeds, and we could send out a bunch in the LinenRailroad. And I was like, just pick out some that you want to keep. How'd that go?
I wanted to keep almost all of them. Because I'm like, oh, I want to plant that one. I want to plant that one. I want to plant that one. Oh, that one looks so good. Oh, you know. And it's just like, I feel like that's something that Yah has put inside of us. Like, even it goes way back to the garden. Like, we have this innate desire to want to cultivate things, to want to grow things, to want to take care of things. Like, you know, our Heavenly Father is the master gardener. Like, you know, like, it just, we have this desire that He put in us to want to do that. And so it's hard. We've been wrestling with, like, but is that what Yahuwah is calling us to? Is growing our own food? Because I do believe some people are absolutely appointed to grow their own food, and they're very good at it, and they grow a lot of it, and then they're able to share their abundance of their yields with many, many, many people and be able to bless and feed tons of people. And I think that's incredible. But I don't know that we're all called to do that.
Like, truth be told,
And that's hard.
it's super hard
certainly are.
Because, all right, there was some other things that we brought back from Colorado, like my journals. I had just boxes of journals, and I was like, I have to get rid of these. I felt like a couple Shabbats ago, I had to get rid of them. Yeah, I was like, that's not what defines you. I'm the one who defines you. And I got rid of them. Well, then the next day, Chelsea had these 2 totes of like soccer memories. And why don't you just tell them about soccer in your life? No greater time.
Oh.
And yearbooks. But I think you should tell them about that one. Because that was a season. Most of you don't think of Chelsea as the soccer player. But if you go back to Colorado, there's like memorial walls to her.
No, not quite.
She's all like this. There's stacks of newspapers that are like this tall of her face in them.
Yeah, I was in the newspaper quite a lot. I don't know why. I ended up in the newspaper quite a lot. But who knows? But yeah, I played soccer since I was 6 years old. And all the way clear up until I think junior year of college. And yeah, soccer just was, I remember my parents put me in all kinds of different sports, trying to, just sports and different activities. Like I took dance class, I did tap and ballet, and I did piano lessons, and I did ice skating and t-ball and gymnastics, and they said I was too tall. Cut that one out.
Not that one.
I remember my dad dropped me off at my first ice skating lesson, and then he was running errands with my sister, and I don't know, they just got delayed and my class was over, and I thought my dad forgot to come pick me up.
Devastated.
So it totally crushed the ice skating dream
Never
too.
again.
Yeah, I'm probably too tall for that too. I don't know. Anyway, so there was just all these reasons why I wasn't finding what, I don't know, I wasn't finding my niche. And then my parents heard that a lot of children in the neighborhood and people we knew, they were putting their children in soccer, and so they put me in soccer, and I just thrived. Like my mom, she always was like, Chelsea, you have so much energy. You too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so much energy. Just wiry and
Wiry. It's
yes,
a nice way of saying
lots
it.
of energy. And anyway, my mom was like, yeah, we need to get her into something where she can run off some of that energy. It's good. And so anyway, they got me in soccer, which is tons of running and running after a ball, and it was the best thing ever. I had so much fun. I loved soccer. I loved it. And so my parents totally supported it and just poured everything into putting me into soccer, and I was thriving and excelling in it and getting better and better and better, and then wanting to go from playing recreationally to playing competitively, and then playing competitively year round. So you play you do tournaments all summer long, you do a spring season, a fall season, then you play indoor soccer in the winter. So you're literally playing year-round soccer.
Never stop.
Soccer just became my life, my world, my identity, and was all wrapped up in soccer. And when you're going from youth to through your preteen years and then into your teenage years, you are looking for, what's my identity? What defines me? Who am I? What do I stand for? What, yeah, who do I want to be? What do I want to be? All these things going through your head, and you're trying so desperately to figure out what your identity is. And if you're not plugged into the true source of your identity, who made and created you, and breathed life into your very body, you're going to be disconnected, and you're going to be looking to all the wrong things to define you. And anyway, so in high school, I definitely kind of latched on to that. I'm a soccer girl. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is my whole world. And it just was, everything was all wrapped up in that. And I remember going with my dad to one of the state championships for, I don't know if it was 5A or maybe not 5A. I don't know what I think it's 5A, but anyway, just the different brackets for high school soccer. But eventually you would get to the point where you would play in a final game, and you're basically state champions or not, right? And he took me to the state championship match, and I remember they played under the lights at night, and I just thought that was so cool, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. I want to do this. Like, I want to play in the stadium. Like, first it was that. It was like, that was my big goal, was like, I want to play in the stadium. I want to get here to where, get so good at soccer where I can play in the stadium and be here and like be the state champion, you know, for high school. And then after that, it, you know, it kind of even went to, you know, I definitely want to play college. And then even after that, it was like, oh, maybe I could even go and join the Olympics, like Olympic, you know, because in soccer they have Olympic development programs and stuff. So anyway, it was even like, oh, maybe I can even play in the Olympics one day. Like, it was like that big. Like, it was just all consuming my life. But anyway, yeah, we went back to Colorado and we're sorting through all of our old stuff, and man, it was crazy to look at all of those old pictures and just to realize like what an idol it was in my life. Like, you know, and looking back on it and just how my identity was all wrapped up in that. And more so in that than, you know, being a child of the Most High. Like, you know, I grew up in a Christian home my whole life, but definitely was very, very lukewarm in my relationship with the Lord for my whole life. And so, you know, up until, you know, recently, the last, like, really over the last, like, you know, few years, you know, just taking things completely seriously and being absolutely just floored by what it is to fear, like what it really means to fear Yahuwah Most High, like to fear God Almighty, like to have that fear and that reverence for Him, and that He wants people that are all in. He wants you all in or all out. Like, He doesn't like lukewarm. He wants to spit lukewarm out of His mouth. And I was very lukewarm for a good majority of my life. But yeah, soccer kind of definitely took that place and became this crazy idol. And it's funny because even playing soccer, you know, you realize like just how much you give up for that like thing. Yeah. Like, there was so many sacrifices, like on my parents' end of things, like, you know, financial sacrifices to allow me to be able to play. There was, you know, time sacrifices and commitments like you wouldn't believe, to be able to play at these different levels. And you know, I ended up going on to play college, and I don't know, just your whole world is completely wrapped up in that. And it was like that until after my junior season. And then I finally quit because I had a really hard year and I was just injured all the time and just tired of it and trying to do soccer and nursing at the same time. Yeah, so we went back to Colorado, and just looking through all that old stuff was so triggering. Like, just, it brings up and dredges up all of this stuff from the past that you've kind of forgotten, you know? You're like, that's not who I am anymore. That's not who defines me any longer. Like, I don't even know, like, I can't even relate to that person anymore, you know, who was all wrapped up and all consumed with soccer now, you know, like, and I don't know, it was so weird. And then I was like, why am I holding on to all of this? And then I was just kind of like, I don't know, just there's so much to it, but it's just realizing that it was such a big area of just this all-consuming, this idolatry, basically, is what it was. So we went back. We actually smashed some idols because
burned them too.
Oh, this is harder to do than you think. A lot. Here, maybe we'll just...
Yeah, there you go. Oh my gosh, so loud. Stuff we do late at night. Oh my gosh. Turn it sideways.
What?
Turn it inside.
Lay it on its side? Like this? Oh, that's a heavy one. That's like marble.
It's marble. It's marble.
Oh my.
It's marble and brass.
Oh my.
I know. Oh, she took it out. Oh, nice.
It's really funny, like they totally in high school and in college and well, all the way through, your sports, you know, they give you all these different plaques and all these different literal
Idols. Trophies, y'all.
Trophies.
What do you think they are?
Like trophies.
Idols.
Medallions.
Put it on your mantle.
They're
Look
gold
at it.
and silver, like around your neck, and they're literally like these adorning of the champions. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just this whole other crazy world that you're completely wrapped up in, and you don't realize what it is until you've walked away from it for so long, and then you go back to it and you're like, wow, these are seriously little idols. Like, they're little mini sculptures covered in gold or bronze or whatever. And I mean, maybe not literally, maybe they're just gold coated or whatnot, but you're just like, wow, this is so crazy. Like, this is intense. And then we put them up on shelves, you guys, and we literally reminisce and we look at them and we're proud of them, and we put them in a place of honor in our home. Like, it's totally an idol. I don't know what else that is. So anyway, that was interesting to just go back and to have that veil kind of removed from, or those scales removed from my eyes, like as I was looking at all my old past, and I was like, wow, I really don't need all this stuff anymore. And it just felt good to kind of get rid of it.
Get free.
Yeah, break free of it for sure. Yeah, and to just repent too, and repent to the Father for loving and desiring something in my life and striving after something that was anything other than Him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was. It's like, I had my own with the military, you know, and I had to sit there and trudge through all of those, and we had this like multi-night session of trying to just physically purge this stuff out of our life. Because just because we moved into an RV didn't mean we didn't downsize over and over and over and over again. We have had to downsize our life so many times. And then about 1.5 years ago, we moved into a house because I got offered a farm manager position down in Central Texas, and they gave us a house to live into. So we moved into a house for a little while. Then we moved back out of the house and back into our RV. So then we just had stuff that you get for home life. And like,
Moving day! It is a snowy, icy tundra out there. I don't know if you can see. It is freezing cold outside. We have fully moved into this house, and now we're fully moving out. Look at this. What a mess. This is just to remember this moment and capture the chaos of it all. We are downsizing and moving things out to the RV in the snow. It's like, I don't even know. It feels negative outside. If it's not, it's got to be like 5 degrees. It's freezing out. And Juby got to experience her first snow, didn't you, George? She's just waking up from a nap. But we are doing good. And Yahuwah is good for delivering us out of a bad situation. Again, yet again. He is so good. He is so faithful. And I just wanted to show you the chaos. So when you're having times of difficulties, just remember it could always be more difficult. But you gotta try to find joy, even amidst it.
it requires so much dedication to cutting off anything that you don't actually need to just live by doing this lifestyle. Like, we are able to move around, but the more stuff we have, the more of a burden it becomes. And she had all of these totes of stuff from her past when it came to sportsmanship and scholastic stuff. She was like the salutatorian or the valedictorian of her school. And she had accolades. She's being super modest about her. She set records and all kinds of stuff back in Colorado. And she was a champion of champions. And she was in the state championship. She got to experience those things.
I did get to do that.
She got to experience all those things. Those dreams came true for her. And then at the end of it, she was left with this wanting still afterwards. It was unfruitful in its end. And like, same thing for me in the military. So that man of violence did not bring forth a fruit of life that I needed in order to be an effective father and husband and servant of Yah. And these are these things that you have to get put to death in your life. And we've realized even now, farming became another version of that for us in this kind of maybe desire that's the right desire to return back to a lifestyle that's like Edenic. But at the same time, there's a reason Peter got called out of fishing and he got called to go fish for men. And like, I just had that realization the other day. I've been recording like the audio Bible, and I'm finding so much satisfaction in just sitting down and recording the word of Yah. Like, I can't even start to describe to you all how much more fruitful it is going to be to put forth just the word of Yah. Like, not my thoughts, my opinions, my conjectures, just to put out his word, like to take my mouth and to just use it to proclaim his word, to use the tools that he's given me, because it requires great diligence to be able to do something like that, to narrate the word in a way that's effective and communicates effectively the truth of what's hidden therein. And I want people to be able to be saturated in that. And I want, if anything, legacy-wise, that I can impart to the world, it's his word. It's not my own. It's not my legacy. It's not my trophies. It's not my accolades. Like, we have to leave this world with an impression of Yeshua and of his and of Yahuwah and of his set apart spirit. That's what we're supposed to be sowing out there day and night. And I know some people genuinely are called to go and homestead, to go and farmstead, to go and produce food for people. However, we've realized if we try and go and plug back into that, and what always happens is we neglect our ministry. Every time we've done that, we backburner the ministry, because normally, like this time of year, I'm working 6 to 10 hours a day on a farm. Like last year, I was working 12 to 14 hours a day, every single day, 6 days a week. And it was just like consumed my life. And like the ministry became very relegated to the back.
It requires such high input.
Sacrifice. It requires sacrifice. Everything that we do in this life is going to require sacrifice. And we realize if we have to sacrifice into different areas of our life, into our family, into our children, into other people.
Okay, we gotta let them cool for a minute. Okay, we can take that off. Here, watch out, babe. Okay, this goes back here to cool. Okay, now.
Mom, can I do it?
Watch, we're gonna watch, you just.
I'm gonna do it.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna do this one, you do the next one when it's cool, okay? Watch, we're gonna take it in the sesame seeds. And we're gonna swirl it. And we wanna get all the edges, get lots of seeds on there. Oh, watch out, now I'm gonna flip it here. There, isn't that awesome? Bagels.
I'm gonna take a picture.
Yep, flip
Dad,
it
I
down,
wanna take a
down on its
picture.
belly. Oh,
Dad, I
hold
want
on.
to take a picture of it.
Okay, here, swirl it now. Swirl it, you do the swirling.
I want to take a picture, Dada.
Oh, try not to get it on the bottom too much.
Dad, can I take a picture?
And then you're gonna flip it over.
Nation Jubilee, indeed, you will be able to.
Great job, Naomi. Wow, those are beautiful.
We made this little scope thing, kaleidoscope, and we put beads in the top, and I did that. I did a little glitter and stickers and a little strap.
Show me the other end that you look through.
And that's what
There's
you
a
look
little
through.
aluminum foil in there, and you hold it up to the sun, and you can just tap it and turn it. This is out of a paper.
Take off my
It's
strap.
out of a paper towel tube, and then the plastic on the end is just hot glued on there, on both sides to sandwich it in. And the beads we already had, and all the craft supplies we already had, and the plastic was literally like from one of those plastic containers for like, you know, that you get your salad in, or just something recyclable that you have, a plastic container of some kind. Plastic water bottle would work, anything would work, just some plastic. And then you just glue them on there. So pretty cool, huh?
And like we've realized we have to be continually putting down idols in our life that try to rise up and put themselves in the place of it. Like, we have been able to devote for the last like month to our family and our ministry and nothing else. And it's like, we've been so much more productive. Like, unbelievable. Show them what you've been doing.
So good.
Like, my wife cast down her idols.
Sewing again. I'm
Come on.
sewing again.
She burned idols of soccer and she traded them for stuff like this.
Not that.
Come
Not
on,
that.
the other one.
Well, this is a hat that Jubilee Jane wore when she was a baby. I actually have a picture, I think, of her wearing this, and it was hilarious because it would always slip down over her eyes like a little, I don't know, eye mask or something while she would be sleeping. But I thought this was organic cotton, and I looked back at the tag, and they're not. They're just rayon. And I was like, oh man, they're just bamboo. They're very soft. But I was like, is there any way I could replicate this hat with linen somehow? And then I was like, oh my gosh, yes, there is. Linen knit. So if you guys haven't heard of Linen Knit, they make linen that is a knitted fabric, and it is like the softest stuff ever. It feels amazing. And anyway, this is one of my old Linen Knit shirts. But what happens over time with Linen Knit is that it does get holes in it.
Where are you right now?
Because it's a knitted shirt. It's kind of fragile, and the washers are so hard on
Knit
it.
linen socks.
But anyway, I thought, okay, well, if I could unknot it here and put it over the linen and kind of cut around it and use it as a pattern, maybe I can make little baby hats. Okay, so here is a large linen knit. I loved that it had this pattern of these little glittery stars on them. I thought it was a really neutral, you know, gender neutral. It could be gender neutral baby hats. So I'm gonna make a bunch of baby hats from this shirt. Let me show you what I do. So I'm just gonna cut the sleeves off, okay? You're gonna carefully cut both sleeves off. You're gonna cut it open on the sides, open on the sides. You're gonna cut along this top seam here and cut along here. And then you're gonna have 2 front panels. And then I'll show you what to do. This took me like 5 minutes to cut out the pattern, and I totally made these little linen knit baby caps. Isn't that amazing? So babies can have these little newborns. When they're born, they need to keep their heads warm because they lose a lot of heat through their head. And anyway, they could just have this comfy linen hat on their head. And so anyway, I'm experimenting with like how many baby hats can I get from one shirt, and taking some of my old linen knits that are clearly falling apart and there's just no longer salvaging it at this point, and how I can take that and make these hats. But it has been so rewarding, so fulfilling to just be able to like sew for this new little one coming, and sew for them. I was able to make tons of garments for my children this week, and they, oh my gosh, Jubilee Jane, what do you say? She looks like a 40-year-old woman.
She looks like a 40-year-old woman. Chelsea made this tunic for her.
I repurposed a little tunic for her out of a woman's jacket. And the jacket had this big zipper down the middle and this ridiculous collar. So I like cut that all out. And then I just added buttons and made it to fit little Jubilee. But she loves it. And
she's so regal.
She looks so fancy in it. And she really does look like an adult woman.
Super tiny, and she talks like a 12-year-old, so it's super strange. People are always like,
gosh.
Tell me, what are you getting ready to go do?
We're getting ready to get milking.
Milking? What are you gonna milk today?
We're gonna milk a cow today.
You're gonna milk a cow today?
Yes.
How exciting!
Yep.
Yep.
And so we're just trying to.
You needed to come inside for what? Your apron? Your milking apron.
Yeah.
All right, let's go milk that cow.
Yeah.
But it just feels so good. It feels so good to be able to like sew for your children and clothe them and just see them have such joy in the things that you're able to make and create for them, and to know that you're putting them in good fibers and natural fibers that Yah made specifically designed for our bodies, to work in harmony with our bodies, to help heal our bodies and help reduce anxiety, and just allow us to live good happy lives in the clothing that we're in with these amazing natural fibers. So anyway, it just felt really good to be able to do that, and very satisfying. Like
in 1 week, I recorded 5 books of the Bible, and like she made garments and garments and garments and garments, and it was like she was sitting on this side of the table and she was sewing away, and I had like my microphone going over here, and I was like, wow. Look at what can happen when we like own our time. Like when we actually labor in our own time and we don't let other things come in and steal from it. And like right now, I feel like of anything that the Father has been honing on us, it's to guard from distractions, like Mary and Martha, and like
commitments, y'all. Over committing yourself to,
because we got pulled in a lot of directions by a lot of different people simultaneously. And you know what? it's natural that we want to be able to serve people. That's like what we are. We're literally servants. It's what our job is. It's what our position is. But like we have the means to park and minister to people wherever we are. And if we can focus on doing that, no matter where it is that the Father appoints us to do it, we can be so much more effective at accomplishing our tasks on this earth. And like, she's been able to be fruitful in our lives of our children, and now she has something to show for her labors. But so much of that required me putting down my own idols and my own fears and the anxiety and the tension. And like, our home is peaceful. Like, our home is peaceful, and that's been the biggest change. I was looking at it and I was like,
good.
wow, this is the fruitfulness of me not being anxious and stressed all the time. My wife is at peace, and she's able to be expressing herself through the creative arts that she does have, that she's been entrusted by Yahuwah. And you're not tense all the time and on edge. And it's like, wow, this is what happens when we put down our aspirations. Like, instead of me trying to accomplish my dreams, it's like, how about you let your dreams go down the river with the dead men? And you go ahead and let Yahuwah raise to life whatever it is that he has for you. Because we're realizing if we just go ahead and serve him, we've had more provision of peace and of everything we've needed since we did that. Since we let it all go. In like the last month, we're like blown away, and we're like, what is happening? Our whole life is changing.
Like, this is so wonderful.
We're like, this is possible.
This is how we need to be living.
Yes.
Like, we need to be intentional with our time. Like, time is short right now. Like, and we want to be most effective for the kingdom in this time and during this time. And we need to look at, like, what can we be doing to best be utilized by him. And that's in alignment with his perfect will for you, too. You know, and not just chasing some dream.
Yes. Because all too often our dreams are idols, y'all. And it's like, don't weigh too much of your life upon the dreams. Like, know what your calling is. Know what your calling is, because that's from Yahuwah. Dreams are not necessarily from him. Sometimes they are. 4 times Joseph, when he's got his pregnant wife, he's like, oh my gosh, I did not do that. Yahuwah sent a messenger to give him a dream. 4 times he changed his entire life around because of dreams that came from Yahuwah. But you know what? There's a lot of dreams that we get that are not from him. And I'm not talking about just the ones that you have when you go to sleep. I'm talking about the ones that you might have had since you were young and they got impressed upon you. Or like her dad taking her before the stadium lights and having that moment. That instilled a dream in her. That gave birth to this seed. That put a seed in her heart. And you know what? Was the seed from Yah? Or was the seed from her flesh? Or was the seed from the devil? Was the seed from this world? You have to weigh out every one of these things, because you know what? These really are seeds. Everything that we're doing in our life, we're picking up. This whole world is full of fruit. And this whole entire kingdom of darkness is full of fruit. And you're going around and there's pleasing to the eyes and it's desirable that it might make one wise. Like there is this garden temptation out there alluring so many of us astray. And we have to diligently guard from these things, because that was the first job given to Adam, was to shamar, was to be a guardian, guard the forest, and then to be an Obadiah, an obedient servant, to work it, not till it. It says Obed. He wanted him to be a worshipful servant in it, to serve the earth. We are supposed to serve it and labor there. But that being said, we've realized now we have to be diligent to guard the commands from Yahuwah our Elohim, to walk in his 8 ways and to revere him. And for us, that is doing the LinenRailroad. For us, it's doing these videos. For us, it's reading his word diligently. It's really recovering our identities, because Chelsea told you she had an identity that was caught up in something that came from another god. And it's the god of this world, which is sports. It's one of the biggest gods of this world. There's another god of this world, which is our stomachs. And there's so many of these other idols out there that are trying to give us full of their fruit. And you know what? Yahuwah is the one who's having us to purge ourselves of our idols. He's having us to consistently die to ourselves and to become no longer self-seeking, but self-suffering to Yahuwah, to sacrifice ourselves to him and cling to his ways and regard his word as the most precious and valuable thing that we can instill in others. So I just wanted to encourage you all, guard fiercely against those idols that might be trying to creep into your life, even if they seem to be good and they could lead to good.
Like soccer totally was, I mean, yes. Was it good in the sense that it was healthy for me to be running and training, you know, and working my body physically? What is that verse where it says that
bodily exercise profits some,
is of some
spiritual
good, right?
Gain,
yes.
Exponentially more so.
Yes, and I think of that with sports, because yes, okay, yeah, you learn to work as a team and you are physically training your body and whatnot, but like when I really look back on all of the time, you guys, that time commitment, all of that time that I spent, I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of my life poured into that sport. And when it's all said and done and it all gets put through the fire, what is left? Like, what is the fruit of that time? All that time spent in my life, y'all. I played from 8 years old to 20 some years old, and then even still played a little after that, just to keep up my fitness or whatever. And it's like, all that time spent, y'all, like, when you really look back at it and it goes through the fire, like,
We literally put it in the fire.
what? Yeah, we literally did. And it's like, what was left? Like, what was left? Just dross? Like, what was left? Like,
Slag.
ashes? Like, you know what I mean? And you're just like, wow, like, that's what you need to be guarding against. Like, what, you know, what are these things, these areas in our lives that are taking so much time, so much of our commitment, so much of our energy and our love, our aspiration, our yes, away from Him and serving in His kingdom and being able to bear that fruit that, you know, it says, store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, you know, where moth and rust do not destroy and where thieves don't break in and steal. Like, the treasures that we're working towards in His kingdom, laboring in His fields, being fruitful for His kingdom, that's going to be those everlasting riches in the life to come. And like, you have something to take to Him and to give Him and to honor Him with, as opposed to being left with like, wow, like, for all that time and energy and effort, like, we don't really have much to show for that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was an idol.
This is literally what it says. Check this out. This is 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 15. Do your utmost to present yourself approved to Elohim, a worker who does not need to be ashamed, rightly handling the word of truth. But keep away from profane, empty babblings, for they go on to more wickedness, and their word shall eat its way like gangrene. Hymenaeus and Philetus are of this sort, who have missed the goal concerning the truth, saying that the resurrection has already taken place and overthrow the belief of some. However, the solid foundation of Elohim stands firm, having this seal, Yahweh knows who are His. And let everyone who names the name of Messiah turn away from unrighteousness. But in a large house there are not only vessels of gold and silver, but also of wood and clay, some unto value and some unto no value. If then anyone cleanses himself from these matters, he shall be a vessel unto value, having been set apart of good use to the master, having been prepared for every good work, and flee from the lusts of youth. But pursue righteousness, belief, love, peace with those calling on the Master out of a clean heart. But refuse foolish and stupid questions, knowing that they breed quarrels. And a servant of the Master should not quarrel, but be gentle towards all, able to teach, patient when wronged, in meekness instructing those who are in opposition, lest somehow Elohim gives them repentance unto a thorough knowledge of the truth. And they come to their senses out of the snare of the devil, having been taken captive by him to do his desires. But know this, that in the last days hard times shall come, for men shall be lovers of self, lovers of silver, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, thankless, wrongdoers, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without and self-control, fierce, haters of good, betrayers, reckless, puffed up, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of Elohim, having a form of reverence but denying its power. Turn away from these. For among those are those who creep into households and captivate silly women loaded down with sins, led away by various lusts, always learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. And as Yonah and Mamre oppose Moshe, so do these also oppose the truth, men of corrupt minds, found worthless concerning the belief. But they shall not go on further, for their folly shall be obvious to all, as also that of those men became. But you did closely follow my teachings, the way of life, the purpose, the belief, the patience, the love, the endurance, the persecutions, the suffering, which came to me at Antioch and Icon, and at Lystra, which persecutions I bore. Yet out of them all the Master delivered me. And indeed, all those wishing to live reverently in Messiah Yeshua shall be persecuted. But evil men and impostors shall go on to the worst, leading astray and being led astray. But you stay in what you have learned and trusted, having known that from whom you have learned, and that from a babe you have known the set-apart scriptures, which are able to make you wise for deliverance through belief in Messiah Yeshua. All scripture is breathed out by Elohim, and is profitable for teaching, for reproof, for setting straight, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of Elohim might be fitted, equipped for every good work. Proclaim the word, be urgent in season and out of season, convict, warn, and appeal with patience and teaching. These are the things that were supposed to be trained up in us when we were young, from our babe, from our youth. Like, Naomi gets to hear.
From the womb.
Naomi, for the last year and a half, has got to hear me read the word over her at night. We do a lot of reading at night, don't we? Like, we realize we do so much reading at night as a family now. And you know what? That means we all go to bed pretty early. Because for us, we're all in one gigantic bedroom. By gigantic, it's really it's a stretch. I turned a closet into 2 bunk beds. But we live in one bedroom back there. And so we all sit back there and we'll read for like an hour. And you know what I've realized? Like, we have put so much time into those words being washed over my family. And you know what? That's like why I'm passionate about doing this project. Because you know what? I know not all of you can do that, nor all of you will. But you know what? I'm hoping that these readings of the scripture are something that you can put on, that you can get washed in continually, that you can wash your family in and your children in, that like these words would be read over you continually, so that we really could have the reproof and the deliverance through the Messiah that we all need. Because I need it daily. I need it every single day. I need to remember closely my faults, like not to lose sight of them. I'm not wallowing in my sins, but at the same time, I know my weaknesses. And every day I turn to the Father and say, help me this day to be a man of peace, gentleness. He literally says, be gentle towards all, patient when wronged. Like, if I can't be gentle towards them, I can't go anywhere outside of this house and try to do anything else, because this home needs that gentleness. And love says very clearly, love is patient, love is kind, love is gentle. I have to learn these fruits in my life to be budding forth before I can ever step into a world of darkness and try to bear the light of Messiah. So I hope you guys would saturate yourselves in this word, and that you would cherish it beyond all other things in this world. And as the lusts of the youth would die off, and as you guys would put to death those lusts of the youth, even if you're 70 years old or you're 7 years old, listen, cling to the word here and find out what is your calling from the Messiah. Because like you said, the days are evil and they're short. And you know what? We need to be laboring for his kingdom first. Seek you his kingdom first, and then all these things shall be added unto you. Seek his righteousness. What is his righteousness? Psalm 119, 142. Your righteousness is righteousness forever, and your Torah is the truth. Cling to his word, learn his ways, walk in his commandments, and you know what? You will flourish, and you will begin to be the ones that are bearing the fruit. Like the oak trees, y'all. He calls us to be oaks of righteousness. Oak trees are very different than a fruit tree. Okay, you can have your plum tree that's outside, and you're like, wow, it gives fruit every year. Oak trees are not like that, okay? They will give out fruits in huge quantities. You might go out there and be like, oh my gosh, there's nothing but acorns everywhere. And you'll go back to the same gigantic tree, which used to be covered in acorns. See, look at that. Well played,
Naomi.
These same acorns, right? These same acorns. You'll go back to that tree the next year, there'll be none. And you'll go back the next year and there's none. You'll go back the next year and there's none. You'll go back the next year and there's none. And you're like, what happened? You might go back for the 5th year and then there's more acorns than you can get through it. They're 2 feet deep in the forest floor, and you're like, what? Acorn and oak trees are totally unique in that regard, okay? They give it out in unique amounts because you know what? If they gave out the same amount of acorns every single year, the squirrel population would go crazy. And then they would have so many squirrels and they would not be able to get fruitfulness out there. And the squirrels would be eating all their nuts. But you know what? If they stop making acorns that year, all that population dies off. And so they go somewhere else. And then when they do drop all the acorns, there's so many that there's not enough squirrels to eat them all. There's not enough predators to devour them all. And so you know what? It forces fertility to go everywhere. And that's what he says about us. Some of you all, you're the oak. And you're sitting there and you're like, why don't I have any of this fruitfulness? Why is it my life is like this? Because this is a season where you deepen your roots. This is a season where your roots go so much deeper and you're expanding 1,000-fold in the roots. Some of you all, you're supposed to do nothing but read this book and nothing else for the next year of your life. Nothing else. To just devour your, devour this like your life depended on it. Like if you never ate anything else in the world, that you would be satisfied because you'd been filled with this every single day of your life. When you super saturate yourself and you deepen those roots in this, you know what? Your fertility and your fruitfulness is going to come. It's inevitable, because he says you can't go and sow this out there and it not return void. You know what? I could go plant this acorn and it may not sprout. But you know what? If I send this word out there, if we send this word out to you guys, we know 100% certainly that we can bet our life on it and our future eternity and all of my children's future on the fact that it will never return void, and that all of our needs will absolutely, most certainly be met. So we pray you all will seek this word and devour it more than anything else, because you were made to be fruitful above everything else. The first command, go be fruitful. Guard it, bless it, serve it, worship, and you know what? Be fruitful and multiply. We love you all. We hope you all be encouraged and of good cheer this day. And you know what? Even though you may be lonely and feeling like it's a season of total isolation, know that Yahuwah is always near unto those who call upon him, day or night. And you know what? There's more of us every day than you can possibly imagine. There are not. We are definitely have the enemy outnumbered, so never ever doubt it. We love y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.